Hello everyone, and welcome back to the video. I'm the last wanderer. With Snapshot 20w49a comes the introduction of the long-awaited Sculk Sensors. These are the first intended source of wireless redstone, and they can be used for traps, doors, activation devices, and so much more. Let me explain how they work, and show how to use them, along with some examples. First, let's start with the basics. A Sculk sensor can detect any vibration in an 8-block spherical radius around them. A vibration includes most in-game sounds and a few other things. As you can see, this sphere is an accurate representation of the range of a Sculk sensor. It can detect any event that happens inside the sphere and any block that's a part of it. Here's how Sculk sensors work. They output a signal strength based upon how far or how close the source of the vibration is. The farther you are away from them, the smaller the signal strength they output. The closer you are to them, the higher the signal strength. But this works differently with a comparator. A comparator determines the type of vibration based upon a set list and then always outputs the same signal strength if it's the same type of vibration, which is pretty complex. I'll get into that more later. But so Sculk sensors don't detect all sound. For instance, they don't hear note blocks. I think this is just an oversight, and that'll be corrected later. But they also don't hear mob idle sounds. Also, when you're shifting, you can jump, move, and the Sculk sensor won't hear you. It's important to note, though, if you're holding shift and you jump and take damage, the Sculk sensor will still hear that. Also, they hear some things that don't make sound, like throwing an item, or the beginning of the food eating animation. At the very first tick, it detects you eating, but you don't make sound until later. In regards to the comparator, the Sculk sensor will output different signal strengths for things like walking, items dropping, eating, shooting projectiles and projectiles landing, casting a fishing rod, and reeling the fishing rod back in. I'll put a full list of all the items along with their signal strengths on the screen now. Another important thing to note is Sculk sensors don't all activate at the same time. There's 1 tick of delay for every block the Sculk sensor is away from the source of the vibration, as you can see. Also, they output a signal strength, as I mentioned before, based on how far away that is. In a straight line, that'd be 15, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1, and 0. It gets more complicated when you add in diagonals. Other important things to know about the Sculk sensor is that when a Sculk sensor is activated, it remains active for exactly 2 seconds or 40 game ticks. Also, there's a 1 game tick delay after it shuts off, and the Sculk sensor cannot reactivate. And then there's the feature of wool occlusion. Any vibration that occurs on the other side of a wool block will not activate a Sculk sensor. But it gets more complex when you get diagonals involved. Some more facts about Sculk sensors: they can detect you placing and breaking other Sculk sensors, but they can't detect the activation of the other Sculk sensors. Also, one other interesting thing, Sculk sensors scream when you break them. One last important thing to note is you can't push a Sculk sensor at all. As you can see, it's not moving. Even if you make no vibrations, you still can't move it. This is likely to prevent possible glitches that could occur if you were to push the Sculk sensor. Next up, I'm going to show some redstone contraptions that use the Sculk sensor. For instance, this is a 3x3 piston door that uses a Sculk sensor to activate it. And the cool thing is, it only activates if you walk. Other things, like projectiles, activate the Sculk sensor, but it won't activate the door. This also prevents it from breaking since the Sculk sensors will detect the pistons firing and retracting. But when I walk, the Sculk sensor will detect it and open the door. It'll even extend the door being open if I'm still walking around the door. But the moment I stop, it'll wait a few seconds and then it'll close. And if I walk again, it reopens. And as you can see, when the door closes, it activates the Sculk sensor, but it does not reopen the door. Let me explain the Sculk sensor part of the door. As you can see here, we have some comparators that detect the Sculk sensor and output a signal strength of 1, which powers this repeater and activates it. If you get a signal strength of 3 or higher, it'll block this repeater from being activated, preventing the door from opening, such as when a piston fires or when it detects a projectile. Now there's also this line of repeaters here that keeps the door open a tad bit after the Sculk sensor deactivates. There's a problem where a Sculk sensor deactivates and then reactivates too fast, it'll break this door entirely. But this here solves it. The second contraption I have to show today is this elytra detector. As you can see, I can walk around, I can jump around, but nothing will turn on this redstone lamp, unless I fly by with an elytra. As you can see, the flying by of the elytra is the only thing that will activate this redstone lamp. And the interesting part about this circuit is it can be modified to look for certain other vibrations by increasing or decreasing the number of items in this furnace, which will change the signal strength this comparator output. For example, you can look for if somebody's eating, if something falls in water, anything in the list I showed earlier. Keeping what I said in mind, I have my third contraption, which is a pitfall trap but with a twist. As you can see, I can walk and I can jump around and nothing happens. But the moment I go to eat this golden apple, it activates and kills me. This trap will also activate if I shoot a projectile. My final redstone contraption is a hidden door but with another twist. As you can see, there's no Sculk sensor activating anywhere here. Only in this block am I close enough to actually activate the hidden Sculk sensor. All you have to do to open this hidden door is just jump here in this corner, and the door activates. As you can see, the redstone's pretty simple. We have the Sculk sensor here. This is basically the same thing as the elytra detector, just with a different set of items. And that's all the redstone for the door, excluding the sticky pistons, which of course you can see here. All fairly simple stuff. That's all I've got for this video. But I'm not done with Sculk sensors. In the future, I'll of course do more with them, and maybe even do something like bring back AFK fish farms. But for now, I'm done. So thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Make sure to check out some of my previous videos, which are 2 more feature reviews from 2 other snapshots. Make sure to come back next time for my next video. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.